What is up, everyone? Bradley Jack Design here with another lovely Tuesday of designing with you folks. Today we're going to do something a little different. As you can see right away, we usually do a 4x5 composition, but today we have a 16x9, and that is just based on the photo I found that we're going to use. So what do we got going on today? So I saw the Dolphins posted that their player Adam Butler got a sack and then pulled up a Dragon Ball Z pose. So like this. I couldn't use the gradient. What is that? Okay. Man, today we're gonna have it's gonna be another one of those days where things don't work. And I'm going to absolutely love every second of it. It's like I just moved this file. You know. Everything is breaking. Who knows why? Let's save this. We're gonna save this as Super Saiyan. I feel like a lot of it has to do with this tablet. I already did a little bit. I did a little bit of testing. We'll open up Photoshop again. I restarted my computer like 4 times before this. So, we'll see what happens. What we're going to do is we're going to do something very reminiscent to what Designed by Johnny did, which he did this. Yeah, I saw and bought it was down earlier. I hope it's back up again so I can work. You know? So Designed by Johnny made this. We're going to use this as inspiration for what we're doing. So let's open up our other file we just made. Super Saiyan. Seems to be working a little bit better now. So here's what we're going to do. Like, look, I can't even click and drag. Like, you see how like lag this is? Very confused as to why that's happening. Let me unplug this stupid tablet and see what happens. Yeah, the tablet is off. Still broken. Okay, let's do this. Let's not save anything. Let's go here. Let's go to our desktop. We'll just use an older version of Photoshop and see what happens. My computer was doing this earlier though, which was weird. Which is super annoying. But it's going to be sweet. I already downloaded some assets from Footage Crate, which we're going to use to do the Kamehameha. So that's going to be fun. So then other than that, it's just going to be a lot of lighting and then the background. But we'll see if Photoshop 2021 even opens. Could not complete your request because of a program error. So that's already That's already good. Let me hit some buttons. Here's Photoshop. I haven't used this version of Photoshop in 21 days. Can't even open it. Like, I don't know why this happens. It's the weirdest thing. So guys, what do you want to talk about while I try and fix this? And how I'm going to try and fix this is I'm going to delete the Adobe cache file and see what that does. Clear up some thousands of things on my computer. And that probably did nothing, so we'll try and open this with Adobe Photoshop 2022. I really don't want to have to restart the stream because that's just super annoying based on the guys of you that are already in here. Guys and gals. It's going to be fun. This should be a good stream. It's a little better. Yeah, there shouldn't be any reason for, like, globally things to be broken. I'll just do things, like, sort of step by step. Alright. So we're going to have him here. We're going to go this way with the stuff. Let me get rid of this thing so I can see what I'm doing. Alright, so we're going to have him Kamehameha over here. And we're gonna have some stuff in the background. Now I should probably find some stuff in the background first, but we're gonna Kamehameha him first. So let's do new guide from layout. See if we can get this perfectly straight. Now he's looking all funky, so we're going to puppet warp him. See, the puppet warp is happening, but it's not showing up here. There. So I'm gonna put some puppet warps down here. One at his hips where I want him to bend. And right now I'm just gonna pull him straight up like that. And then we're gonna put some on his wrists. I'm actually just gonna move his wrist down like this. And hit enter. And we can tweak some other stuff as well. So we'll go into the puppet warp real quick. So like right here, like I think his elbow's moving a little weird, so I'm just gonna move that down a little bit. And I want his hand to be open more. So if you hold down the option key, you can just rotate. So I'm just gonna rotate his hand a little bit so it's more open, and take this one and rotate it a little bit so it's more left to right. Yes, Garrett finally released his RAM stuff, so go take a look at that. See all the cool stuff Garrett did working for the Rams. I know he wants me to bring it up, so he specifically told me to bring it up on the stream, so Garrett, you might as well link it for everyone who hasn't seen it yet. Alright, so we've got him Kamehameha this way. I'm going to move him back a little bit. So for the background, I'm just gonna like draw some random stuff in here. So here's what we're doing. We're gonna do the Kamehameha in this sort of blue color of the dolphins, and then we're gonna have the orange contrast it. So we're gonna do the orange in the background. So I'm just gonna grab this orange, and since we have this nice tablet, we're gonna use it. Look at that. Nice Kamehameha. Yeah, then we're gonna have some rocks down here. These are rocks, as you can see, but then we want the background to be more dim or duller, so let's underexpose the background. See, and it's like kind of working, kind of not working. Okay, let's actually see if we can find a background first. I'm gonna go to Envato, and we'll take a look at what they have here. Now, I said we're going to do something similar to Johnny, which I want to do. So I want just like, you know, I don't know, Rocky Mountains, something like that. I don't know why honey pops up for like Envato. It's the weirdest thing ever. So I want like desert rocks, you know, barren rubble. Not to be the Baron Rubble, the brother of Barney Rubble. It's like, this is good, you know, salt flats. We'll start with this, and we're just gonna do this to kind of have a starting point for a background. It's already wide too, which is nice. So his feet would technically be like here. He's like Kamehameha. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna edit this photo. We're going to change the canvas size, and we're going to increase the height by like 6,000 pixels, and we're going to do it from the bottom. And that is just to get, sorry, let me pick a color first. And that would just get the canvas extension to be my foreground color. Is going to look like this. So then basically we're just gonna fake the funk with this. I mean, really what I can do is go like this, and this shouldn't really matter in the end. I really could have just done this from the get-go. I'm just gonna take this sort of color, make a new layer. Go like that. I don't know, I'll take like the stamp tool and brush it out like that, you know? And like, yeah, this looks terrible, but theoretically then I should be able to go to sky replacement and just replace the sky. So I should be able to replace the sky with a sunset. I want a dark sky. And I want it to be orange. It's like, this is okay. But really, I want... Let's find a sunset. Let's find a sunset on Envato. Sunset. Orange. I need it to be orange. Like, this is good. But I need it to have a straight arrow. I need it to be sort of straight at the bottom. I need it to be kind of like this. This one would be good. We'll use this and we'll just change the coloring of it. So you can download just a sunset, and then we can go in here to the sky replacement tool, add one. Add one. Go to my downloads, just grab that sunset. Select it. And then it looks like this. So what I want to do is scales at 100. So I think we can scale it down because it really just depends on where it is in the other one. So I want the temperature to be warmer, and I want the lighting adjustment. I want the color to adjust a lot. Yeah, kind of like that. Lighting adjustment. Sure. Fade edge. We can fix that. So let's hit OK. Okay, so now I gotta save this out as a different file because it's a PSD file now. Because the smart object I was editing, or the object I was editing, was a JPEG, and JPEGs have to be flat, which is why I save out as a different file. So now I can replace this, replace contents, and really I needed to just go up a little bit. I went up way too much. So I can select that PSD, it'll replace it. It should replace it in the same spot, which it doesn't, but we can just move it up, kind of like that. And it's super finicky. It's only finicky because it's super broken. Okay, so like here's like a background, but it like kind of sucks. It's whatever. We'll figure it out later. And we're gonna hide all of this just because. Okay, let's do the fun stuff now. So I downloaded some stuff from Footage Crate. What's up, Dean? Everybody say hello to Dean. Moderator. Yeah, it's not doing that. My Mac's fine. So I downloaded a couple things from Footage Crate. So I downloaded this. It's super frustrating. So I downloaded like this sort of blast. I downloaded these sort of electrical frames. So we're gonna add a couple of these that are a little different from each other. So I'm gonna add 2 of these sort of electrical beams. I've got this, I don't know, this weird other pulsating beam thing. Basically, I just went on there and searched for beams. Like, let me hide him. So these are like these, this is what we're doing. We're gonna combine all of these to make some sort of Super Saiyan Kamehameha. So the final one, do this. So this is what we're gonna make. We're gonna make one big Kamehameha with these, and it's pretty simple to do. We're gonna start with the big one, and we're gonna put these in front of his hands, and then we're gonna mask them to his hands. So let's go there, drag that. I'm gonna go to my Mac and see if it's registering everything. Okay, it is, great. It just hates me. I don't know what it is. I honestly don't know what it is. See? I have to like zoom in and zoom out. Maybe there's something in the settings I can just hit to be like, hey, stop being stupid. I'm looking at my performance right now. Yep. Yep. Let Photoshop use all of my RAM. Sure, we'll see what that does. Probably nothing. Okay, we're gonna turn all these off. Okay, we got this main one here. So this needs to at least go to the end. So you're gonna see me zooming in and out a lot just because my computer hates me. So I want this right in the cusp of his hands. Kind of like that. That's theoretically what would be true to anime, which is of course real. So we use this as sort of the core for it, and let's not use that one then. Let's use this one. This is what I downloaded was a whole frame animation. So I just grabbed a different frame, and now there's a longer bulb thing. So I'll put this as the center orb of power, who's a what's it thing. And we'll color all of this stuff at some point in time. So I'm gonna put this underneath this top layer. I'm gonna set this top layer to screen. So this layer here isn't set to screen, which is fine. We've got some bleeding, so we'll just go in and get rid of some of that. Like that, and we'll tidy up all of this. Footage crate is what is the MVP of today. Then we take this cool blaster thing, you know, amp this up a bit. Hold down shift, don't hold down shift. One of them works, one of them doesn't. So we're gonna put this on top. Of course it like broke when I was not shifting or shifting, so. Put this here. I was trying to tag them on like cool assets, and the only thing that popped up was an account that was called Footage Crate Sucks. So it's like, ah, cool. So I'm gonna stretch this up kind of like this, but not too much so it doesn't look too distorted. Just so it's showing like those orbs going like that. And then I'll just mask out with blue for some reason, everything going this way. And then the lightning's gonna be simple. Just gonna have it kind of start from this orb area, but extend all the way to the edge. Kind of like this. We got one there. And these are literally Ghostbusters. I feel like that's what these are for. I think they're literally Ghostbuster things. Let me flip that upside down so it's going from the other way. So there. So now we have this super cool thing, and I didn't do any work. I just screened things from Footage Crate. Good for me. Are there too many of them? Maybe. Do we care? No. No, we don't. So let's boost this Kamehameha up this way. So let's see what we can do now. So let me pop in some curves here, and I would hit curves, but it doesn't work because my computer hates me. So I'm gonna drop the curves down so you can see some of the stuff going through it a little bit better, and I'm gonna do that on a couple of these and see what happens. I think what it's going to do is it's just going to make it so you can see things a little bit clearer. Now these are just lightning, so it shouldn't do much to these. Just do it on all of them. Individual curves. Now it looks like this. So I think that kind of gets rid of the allure of a Kamehameha. We'll do that. Okay, so I'm gonna group all these together. Group. Kamehameha. Hold on. Kamehameha. Okay. Got it. Great. So we move it in just a little bit more. All good. And now we're going to mask it to the outside of his hand. There. So now it's on the inside of his hands. Kind of, as you can see. So we need to... I don't even know if I'm going to be able to use this tablet based on how this is looking. Basically, we're just going to paint it back onto areas that are going to be hit by light. So basically, we're painting the light back on in certain spots. Now, it's going to be full anything that is touching these areas. You can use sort of your common sense. It's going to hit a lot of his hands. This is just a couple initial lighting. I just want it to be on top of what it's supposed to be on top, which is pretty much just his thumb and his thumb here. And I hate how Puppet Warp does this. So Puppet Warp sometimes it cuts off fingers. Like if I turn Puppet Warp off and we zoom back out and we zoom back in, like his finger is very much round here, but if I turn the Puppet Warp on, it breaks his finger, and I don't know why it does that. I wonder if I can fix that. Expansion. Can I hit that? What does this do? Oh god. Maybe that's what it is. Okay, I think if I just expand it instead of 2 pixels, that might work. Learning things. Let's zoom back out real quick. So that's fine, whatever that is. So we'll just copy this. We'll delete our layer mask, mask it back, invert the layer mask. And now his finger is fine. So there, you learn. See, I'm even learning things. If you're gonna do that with a Puppet Warp, set the expansion to something bigger than 2 pixels, and it won't break. So that's good. Okay, so we need to turn this a color. So I'm gonna go over to our best friend in the world, theme color codes. We want the dolphins because I want exact colors. I'm gonna pull up my activity monitor. Activity. Just to see if something's like, hey dog, you should get rid of this. It's killing your computer. So this is the color we want. Just gonna draw a big old box. All right, found activity monitor. OBS and Photoshop. Shock. Okay, so we have this. This is here. This is good. Okay, so how do we want to do this? Do we want to just make a new layer that's on top of it that is a color fill? Like, is that the way to do it? And I don't do color fills right. Like, I should really just go here and go down to this button and hit solid color. And then say, yeah, I want that solid color, please. What do we think of this? We think this is good? I think it's good, but I think I might want some of these to maintain their normal color. So I'm gonna grab some of these frames, toss them on top like this, and then I'll have them in their own individual frame with the same thing going on, just so there's a little color variation. 'Cause I think that's gonna be important. So we've got this sort of Kamehameha, who's a what's it. So I'm gonna toss this on here. I'm gonna keep the color on here, but I'm going to mask it so it's like pure power over here and then gets a little bit more hunky-dory over there. Or I'm gonna delete the layer mask. We'll just mask out certain spots. just for fun. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's Dragon Ball. All right, so we have this light. Now, would the light come shine this way? Probably. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a line like this. And I zoomed out, but you can't see it because my computer's super broken. So like what is the angle that this would be shining at? You know, is it, how much of his hands are blocking? So I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna draw a line there. I'm gonna click down here and I'm gonna go to here. Like that. I'm gonna hit enter, which is gonna give me that. And then I'm going to figure out how I want to do this. I want to invert this and then delete it from this layer mask. And I want to delete it from this layer mask, and then I want to delete the layer mask on this. Man, I'm so confusing. Like, I'm trying to think. I know what I want to do in my mind, but it did not just do what I thought it would. Delete layer mask. Mask. That's what I wanted it to do, except for the front there, but I can fix that. So is that the only frame I did that on? No, because I painted this frame too. So I'm going to delete this layer mask. I want to go like that. So you see what I'm trying to do is I want it so it comes over this way as well. But I need to make sure it doesn't jeopardize anything inside the hands here. So I'm going to paint these back in. And then do the same down here. Paint these back in. Actually, I want to feather this, like, I don't know, 25 pixels? Yeah, that should be good. So there. So now the Kamehameha is coming off this way, but it really doesn't do much because it, like, ends there. So that might have been a moot point to do that. So let's put these all together. Figure out what we got going on. Okay, what is causing a ruckus? Okay, this is causing a ruckus. Let's add the curves layer to this. I'm just like super confusing myself right now on what I want to do. Because I want to get rid of this, but I want it to be there because I want the light to actually shine, but I'm really just going to erase it. Whatever, we'll fake it. We'll fake it in post. We're technically in post, but we're going to fake it in post. I'm going to group some stuff together. We'll do the same thing here. This is where I grouped it, made a layer mask. Hide, 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 hide. Hide, 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 hide. Now what is that? So there's this light behind his hands. Where's that coming from? Well, it's coming from that, of course. Is it coming from this? No, so it's coming from here somewhere. Is it this? Yeah, so it's this. Okay, so I need to do that. There, okay, everything's in front of his hands now. All right, we've spent enough time on his freaking hands. Okay, I want to take one last thing. So these frames, I think, see, I can't see what they are unless I zoom in. I think these frames need to stretch out a little bit more. They like keep intersecting like right at the end here, and there's just a lot going on. So I think I just want to like stretch them out like this. Petition to remove the search Adobe stock button from Photoshop. I think you can probably talk to... Hold on. What is happening? gonna leave this here. Akshay might know how to do that. Okay, so we got rid of that. So here's what we want. So we want this background now. So we have this background here with this exposure. I'm going to delete the exposure though. No, I'm not. Exposure's there. Adjustments. Selective color? No. Color balance. I'm going to make the background a lot more red. It's a little too much. What did Johnny do? That's the question. What did Johnny do for his background? So Johnny, for his background, did this. Dark skies, spots of light. Area you can see what he's doing. And he's got sort of the same thing going on here. So what I have going on that's bad is I have a lot of light. So let's get rid of this and let's just do this. The issue though is, and this is where I'm having some issues. So let's move this, let's delete this sky. So let's go to image. Let me save this actually, and then see if I can just do it in here. Image, sky replacement. Because I don't need it to replace all of up here now. I just want it to replace like this. But you can see it's all super broken over here. Yeah, see that? Like that's weird. Just like hitting buttons now to hit buttons, which is not a good thing to do. Oh, it's because the exposure layer was on that. Okay, that makes sense. So really what I want is I want to have, the reason I want this background color, let me grab the dolphin's color. And maybe I don't have him, I don't know, in a sort of cinematic place. So what we're going to do is we're going to light him as if he is, this all looks wonderfully bad. Terrible. Terrible. Okay. The only reason I did that was because we're going to emulate these effects on him. Okay, so let's get to work. So we're going to do down exposure to match. We're going to go to adjustments. We're going to hit the... See, I'm just completely blanking on what the heck I'm doing right now. So we're going to make him red. We really need to do it on the highlights because he is orange. Really just want him to blend in. Shadows, red, and yellow. Yeah, so we want him to look like that. So he kind of blends in with the back here. Not really, but kind of does. And why is his leg... Like, what is that? Like, why is that there? Like, you see this line? Like, why is there a line here? Is it in the actual photo? Is it from the puppet warp? No, it's just super broken. Oh, it's from this stupid stuff on top. Duh. Hey, you know the big thing that's like casting light and like coloring on stuff? Yeah, it kind of messes things up. I think it's because I don't have this set to screen. I don't have this set to screen. I don't want them set to screen though. I really just need to mask this out. Magic. There, now it's gone. Okay, so we have some light. So now we need to go back and counteract a lot of this color. We should really do some like highlights around him. So maybe we need to do that first. And like, I really have no idea what I'm doing right now. Like I'm like kind of guessing as to like how this kind of should work and like look and stuff. And as of right now, it is not going well. And that is just because my computer hates me. All right, let's try this again. Curves layer. We're going to add an increase in curves. I'm going to add some red. I'm going to add some, get rid of some blue. Give him a little bit of a highlight. So what we're going to do is we're going to give him some highlights based on the light around him. So like what Johnny did. So like the light around him is this. So like this is yellow. There's yellow coming from here. Yellow. That's what I'm trying to do. We're going to have orange or we're going to have blue. It's going to be super heavy contrasting. It looks terrible right now. So it's going to be super fun to have this look like anything at all. And I think the reason is our background. Maybe we just have some sort of, I don't even know. Like I honestly don't know right now. Let me set this to hue. Is that going to do anything? Yeah, it's going to make it a little bit better, which is good. Let's grab some sort of light source from the left-hand side. If we grab a light source from the left-hand side, we can easily define light coming from that side. So let me open a bridge to even more, break my computer. Here, look, here's some lens flares that Ethan made. Let's just use one of these. But you know how much I love these light effects, so we're gonna use these light leaks instead. This is already orange, so we're gonna use this. Toss it on top. I don't really need to. Kind of need to just toss it on the bottom. Set this to screen. Yeah, it's not really what I want. Because this is showing like light on top. I need to show light behind him. We need to put it underneath him. And I need it to be more of an actual light source. Like this. Or this. We'll toss that on there. Grab this layer that's set to hue. Man, see? We'll take this and we'll put this right here. Take the color apparently. We'll take the actual layer, put it right here. Scale it up a bit. Kind of like that. Move it to the side. And then I'm actually just going to blur the crap out of it. And then we'll flatten it a bit. Kind of like that. And we'll just set it to screen. I'm gonna get rid of this. Just kind of do this. So I want this to be... Okay, I blurred it too much. I blurred it 100 pixels. Let's blur it 50 pixels. Because I still want some of that white to be there. And maybe I just have this be like sort of a sunset from that area. I really don't know. Like, I'm really sort of at a loss for ideas. Like, I'm trying to do this like quickly and hope you guys see how I would theoretically do this. Not going too well. All right, so this curves layer, we're going to invert this curves layer because we don't want it there. We're going to zoom in now. As you can see, we're zooming in. Down, 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 down. Okay, so we're at 30 and 30. So what I want to do is I want to paint back in areas that are going to get hit by this. Am I using a soft brush? No. Why am I using a brush at 63%, 68% hardness? Okay. So basically we're going to hit the whole back of him with this orange, and we're going to add other color with this. This is just going to be sort of our base color. We're going to do this on one side with orange, and then on the other side we're going to do it with blue. So like right here. Zoom in. Thank you. Thank you. That's enough. Enough slices. So we're going to hit some highlights here in the back. Just going to cover over these a little bit. And the key to making this look correctly is getting all these little details. Now, some of these areas are still too dark, so we might have to adjust the exposure layer we have on here. But this in general is going to give this a good shot. Let me actually do something real quick. So I'm going to select this layer, select, modify, contract. We'll do 2 pixels just because we're going to duplicate this layer, delete the layer mask, and mask it. Invert the mask and set that to like 4.5 pixels. So now we got a little bit of a fringe going on, which is fine, but I'm really going to add a lot of color to that. So now it's not really, I should probably do that to this. It's not really brightening it, it's more adding, it's adding more color than anything. So I'm gonna do that a little bit here. Just so we're adding a lot of color. You can see what's going on here already, which is great. Just need to add more red. There. Okay. So now with our brush, we can go in here, and every place we touch now is going to add that hue of orange that you just saw streak across here. So it's bleeding on. You know, technically we go around here real nicely. This is where you might want to use a different flow or opacity or change them. I'm using 30%. It might be too much. I was using 2 and 20 before, or 20 and 20 before. So I could really brush along these lines like this, but then come in with a fuller brush to hit some of these areas. So I'm going to hit just where these fold lines are. Really show it here in debut. You know, fold line, fold line, fold line. It's real riveting stuff, I know. I have a poll for you guys who are watching here. Have you guys seen and know what How the Grinch Stole Christmas is by Jim Carrey? And if you saw like a cookie cake that had a quote from it on it detailing his schedule, you guys would, you know what that is. Just asking, no real reason why. Just curious. Because the correct answer should be, of course I know what that is. The movie came out before some of you were born, I think. Well, this is a problem at the bottom here. You gotta move everything down. There. Okay. So you can see we got some nice lighting work going up here. You know, there's some spots I know I can hit and fix. I can hit some areas a little more broad. The harder I touch with this tablet, the thicker the brush is. So I can get these fine details like this. Then I can hit it with a brush like this. Yeah, Garrett, of course you do, because you're not weird. someone we know. Hold on, let me erase some of these because I think they're a little too harsh from when I had the settings on a little bit differently, so I'm going to erase them. Same thing up here. A mutual acquaintance of Garrett and mine's had no idea what that was and made a TikTok about a cake and got roasted for it because people were like, yeah, it's from the Grinch. Do you not know what the Grinch is? It's kind of a famous movie. So I'm going to paint the hair a bunch. And I'm going to be a little bit more willy-nilly with it because of the settings. Yeah, you can see up here. The settings are so... they were way too intense. So I'm going to erase pretty much all of this. That's the fringe, so that's fine. 2 and 2. Go like this. Paint out, paint out, paint out. Paint and paint, paint, paint. Paint, 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 paint. I think this is gonna look pretty cool. So let's see what we did. So like this is what we've done so far. So like I think this looks awesome based on our light source here. We'll figure this out. Like right now, we're doing great. Like I love how this looks. Die Hard's technically a Christmas movie. Step Brothers is technically a Christmas movie. There are a lot of technical Christmas movies out there. Okay, let's not do that. There was something I thought of the other day, or someone pointed out, like, something's a Christmas movie. And I was like, it's got Christmas in it. It's technically a Christmas movie. Okay, so we got the back angle rocking. Like, look at that. That looks great. Then maybe we come down here. We just hitting his pants a little bit. Increase this a little bit to draw there. But then we need to get rid of... I'm going to set this to 50%. 5 and 5. We need to get rid of it down here. We need to get rid of all of it across here. Because that's going to be blue. Same thing here. This is all going to have blue attached to it. So I need to set this to... I'm just going to set this to 100%. We're just going to erase all of it. Some of it might bleed over, but we're not going to mess with that. Because really we want this all to be super blue based on where this orb is. Now the back of his hands, maybe we keep the back of his hands. So I'm going to keep those on there actually because that's facing the light source. Anything that's facing the light source there, we're going to keep. And oh, I kept it so we can put stuff behind his visor. So set this back to 5 and 5. Go like this. This is what we got going on. Super cool. Great. Love how this looks so far. Actually kind of very happy I was able to get that to look how I want it. Okay, same thing here. So curves, only affecting the highlights. Really is not going to do much. So for this, we need to boost the blues. Blue. Well, actually here, first things first. Need to boost the brightness. Okay, so now it's bright. So that looks too purple, right? So then we need to get rid of the red. I think that's pretty good. Now let's add a little bit of green, just a little bit. It's not too bad. But as you can see, it's super saturated. And if I increase the brightness, it gets rid of some of that. So let's... This might be too extreme. We'll take a look. 2 and 2. Well, actually, I want to have this have the exact same mask as the other one. Oh, but I broke it, so I can't do that. Hold on. We're gonna delete this, select, modify, contract, 2 pixels, mask, invert mask, 4.5, I think is what I did, even though half pixels kind of don't exist. Yeah, you see how extreme that is? I think we're gonna have to die that down a lot. Maybe we set this to like 50% and set this to like... We'll see how this goes. Okay, so I'm gonna do 10 and 10 because I feel like it's super strong what we're doing. And it might be too much at once, which is why I always preach, and you guys have heard me say before, whatever it's called. Layers. Do it in subtle layers. They're not showing up. Oh, this is too subtle. Hello, Alex, and hello, Jack. My godson Jack is watching, so everyone say hello to Jack. He is a big fan of the Grinch, which Bev did not understand was something people put on pies. What is happening? Am I even painting right now? Am I going crazy? I'm painting with white on this layer, which is set to 20% for some reason. Because I accidentally hit 20% there. So now it's at 20%. The fill is at 20%. Man, there we go. Okay. So if you don't have the brush selected, you can do a lot of stuff that is going to break a lot of things. Now we're going to paint in here like we were before. And this isn't going to show up the best because it's not doing it on dark layers. And as you can see, Photoshop is breaking uncontrollably. Okay, there we go. So I can brush a lot here. It's only going to show up on like the light part. So we're going to use a different one to bleed into that. So that's fine. So what we really want to do is we want to come in here and lag like the world has never seen before is what we want to do. Here's I think what we want to do. We have this color balance layer, which is color balancing for the back. I think what we want to do is I actually want to mask a lot of that out. So I'm going to take just subtle brushes like this. And basically anything in the front that is touching where this light is not affected by that color balance, because the color balance is just counteracting what we're going to do. We only want it to be color balanced in the back. I'm gonna set the flow to 100. Gonna make this a little bit easier. I could have just used like a gradient probably on this, but this will work just fine. Set this to 40%. I'm like trying to do this delicately, but then it just doesn't look like it's doing anything at all. Yeah, see, so it wasn't even like doing anything here. But then I need it to really, really fade in here. So let's sort of fade it back in a little bit, just so it's subtle. And then get rid of it down here in these areas and get rid of it right here. And, well, I can keep it right there. Man, actually kind of strong putting it back there. Okay, there, that's fine. All right, so now we can go in, and if we have a soft brush set to like 20 and 20, we can go in here and we can brush back in some brightness. Now I'm gonna brush real decently with this to do some broad strokes stuff. Like it's clearly gonna hit here a lot, clearly gonna hit here. Brighten up, brighten this area up, bright. We're adding brightness back to a lot of these areas that would be hit by the brightness, which is pretty much anything that's not being reflected. So it would brighten up a bunch here. I don't know what's happening, Kevo. I'm trying to make this guy go Super Saiyan, but I kind of have no idea what I'm doing, so I'm just kind of like playing it by ear. And my computer hates me, so it's not going well. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to add what I was trying to do before. So I want to add like a highlight right here that's like real bright. I want to add, you know, highlight here. Like this all needs to be bright blue, essentially. So I'm gonna set this to like 50% so I can really see what I'm doing. I'm really gonna narrow this down. So I want it to hit the right side of these little curves. And then even down here, like right here, right here. And that's why having a brush that is set to a lower opacity is going to help. Because it's going to help you hit these front spots. Like really, this needs to be the brightest area possible. So I need to go in and I need to hit these little lines here. Similar to what I did on the back, but on the front with white, or with this light. But really it's like right here. This is super bright. This would be get hit real bright. A little bit of a shadow there. This is super bright. The whole front here is just super bright. And I'm using a soft small brush, which is making everything super muddy. So I'm gonna boost this up a little bit and do one of these. The issue is I want to be subtle with this, but the effects are so drastic. It's very hard to be subtle with it. But like this is what we're looking at here. So like, that's not bad. Like see, like that's 100% opacity. I'm like, that's way too much. So like that doesn't look terrible. It could look better. Job you worked on recently by yourself or a company you work for aired on Hulu. That's cool. That is something to definitely brag about. All right, so I'm going to draw on his knee pad here. Kind of intensely like that. And then down here, a little intensely. Front of his knee pad. I'm trying to think of this as like planes. Like this is a front plane. This is like a side of a plane. Like it would technically hit over here a little bit better, because this would be directly facing. I don't want to pick up my pen because of the opacity, because I want this all to be filled in the same, and then I can tweak it later. So I go like this, add a little bit more. I'm trying to blend a lot of this in, essentially. I can take this out and undo any of this at any time. So that's definitely something I want to be aware of. Let me take this curves. No, the curves is at 100%. Right? Yes, my brush is at 100% too. Because I want to get rid of this. Oh, the flow's at 20. Hold on. There we go. I want to get rid of the blue back here. Only going to hit in the front like that. Great. Okay, so we're back here. We've got our 3 at 3. Got our white coming on like this. Gonna hit some of these areas. And I'm using a little bit too big of a brush, but I do want a little bit of broad stroke in some of this. Then I can go in and hit the highlights a little bit better in a sec. I don't want this thing to look like that. Okay, let's go here. So I'm gonna set this to 5, and I'm gonna drop this down because this is really gonna hit on his face decently well, and on these. So these are white, so this is where a lot of the light would hit. So it's gonna hit his face a lot. The brush is too big still. Yeah, I told Nightbot Nightbot shares the Discord every 20 minutes and then has you subscribe every 15 minutes if you wanted to know what Nightbot does. That's what Nightbot does. And then it annoys the hell out of everyone. And we say, get the hell out of here, Nightbot. Nobody likes you. And then we hurt his feelings. Okay, so this needs some blue on it. This needs some blue on it. I'm basically just trying to find things that are going to be hit by blue a lot. It's going to be a lot of this stuff up here. I'm just going in and making sure I hit some of these areas that would be highlighted maybe a little bit more. So then I can boost this up. And then if I just draw over this whole area, it's light. God, that looks terrible. Hold on. Come on. Big brush. I hit this with bright. It's there, but it's brightest on that one area there. And I can hit the hands here a little bit more. I need to fix the hands up there. Hit here. Blend some of this in a little bit. Brighten up there a little bit more. This is not bright enough for sure, just in general based on where this is coming from. And I need to draw shadows still. This is what we're looking at. I mean, it's good over here, bad over here. My opinion. Also the truth. Also, the computer is just being like, hey guy, you don't need to see anything. That's fine. So we're going to duplicate that layer. Get rid of the layer mask, but we're also going to get rid of the blend if on it. So now I can go in here into the hands. I'm going to do 1 and 1. 2 and 2. Yeah, so we're gonna brighten up the hands. I think what might help is if I actually fix some of the clip, because the clip's a little bit wonky. But we want to make sure that these hands are bright, so we know if anyone catches these hands, it's super bright mode. That is what we want. Bright, bright, bright. Bright, 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 bright. It's a light bright. It's pretty much what this is. It is a light bright. Okay, let me fix something real quick. Going here. This is some stuff. We're gonna go here. We're gonna make a new layer. I'm gonna zoom into this fingertips here. And all I'm gonna do is there's this black edge here that I'm just gonna get rid of. That I can see. Okay, save, quit back, save this next file, go back, and now it's gone. Perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna set this to 3 and 3. I'm gonna make it a lot smaller. And then we're gonna paint in some of these line details. Am I even doing anything? Like, it doesn't even look like I'm doing anything. Could be because I already brightened this area up, so we might have to do another layer. But I can see it is doing some stuff. See, like that. So we're just gonna line some of these other areas. I basically want this to sort of bleed out into here. No, 5. Let's do 75. So I just want to get like as much detail in here on this wrist that I can. It's like that's too much. So like we need to get rid of that. Like this is solid. Let's zoom in here a lot. Light I feel like an OG 2000s, like that's an original infomercial, like a late night infomercial. Light Bright is on that list. Okay, there we go. So I'm just going along the edge of this shirt, because I feel like it would be like super bright. Just because it is sort of a front-facing edge. Yeah, see, you had one as a kid. I never had one as a kid. We had other video games. But, like, look at that. That looks so good. All this other stuff looks subpar, to be honest. So we're going to go in and we're going to try and fix that. And I think having these other layers on top is what's going to help. Basically these other layers that are going to showcase and shine and show where that light is hitting is how we're going to be able to sell this. More highlights essentially. And then once we add in some lowlights, which we're probably not going to have time to do, but I'm going to figure it out. Like this is real white, or just real, there's nothing going on here. And that's just because he has a white jersey. If we were using a black jersey, I think we'd be able to highlight some of these highlights a little bit better. But you work with what you can find. And this is a fun little thing anyway, experiment, you know. This is all to just figure out different techniques and get better with this tablet, really, to be honest. We need to add some blue over here. See, I don't want to blend a lot of this on this one specifically, Casey, because I have it on the gloves, which is a lot of black. For this, you're right, I should probably just duplicate the one that has the blend if. That might be a little smarter. Just so it adds the highlight the right way, you know. The issue is I'm trying to throw highlights on white. Like I'm trying to do white on white, and it just doesn't... It's not easy to do. Like it's kind of there, but right, it's not Not doing a lot. What if I take this exposure and I pull it down? This is gonna look terrible, by the way. Yeah, that looks terrible. Okay, knew that was gonna happen. Okay, what if I take this and toss it onto this exposure? But then I invert it. Better. Okay, we're gonna mess around with this exposure then. Okay, so we have this exposure inverted. I'm gonna use this. I want the flow to be 100%. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna lighten up some of these areas. And I can't do this separately. I pretty much have to do this, a lot of this all in one stroke, depending on what I'm hitting. You can see what the brush stroke does. So I can fade this back down. It's real weird. When you take it away the first time, it looks so drastic. But then when you add it back or take it away, hold on, I want to take away. No, I want white. No, I want black. Yeah, that's what I want. It's just lagging so much I can't see what it's doing. Because the thing is, it's brightening up these white areas, so there should be a decent amount of like kinda white, I feel. But doing so gets rid of a lot of the effect that I have darkening up areas for the back here, which just doesn't work. We're just gonna do that. We're gonna, I mean, we're doing a lot here, and it's not going exactly how I want, but we're just kind of playing around. So there's a lot I would want to do to this, but based on time constraints, I don't know if we're going to be able to get to a lot of what I actually want to do. I want to get rid of this, but what is this on? Is this on this? Okay, it's a little bit here. This is 100%. Okay. Oh, is it the exposure? No. Oh, yes. No, it's not. This. That's the orange. That's the blue. That's this. Very weird. It's on the exposure layer again. Why are you the way you are, computer? Like, I can't even tell where this layer is coming from. Like, okay, that's bad. Don't want that there. I have to do this like individually now. See, I turned that layer on, but painted there, but it's not actually masking out. You see what I mean? Like, that's just weird. Like, mask out. Like, I don't know how to fix that. I think I know why it did it. Well, there, let's do that. That solves part of the issue. Let's do this real quick. So I'm going to add 25 pixels to both sides. I restarted Photoshop like 500 times. Because I can't paint in the area because it's off the screen. Yeah, Adobe today is just real weird. There, see? Now I can get rid of it. So I can do width negative 25 pixels and negative 25 pixels, and it's just going to crop back to where it's supposed to go. Boom. Great. Now that that nightmare is over, on. Okay. What is causing that still? It's still this? At least it's letting me erase it now. The issue now is I have to blend this out. And blend it back in. It says this, whatever. We'll figure it out later. This looks okay. Like this, the blending here is terrible, and that's an issue. But I'm running out of time for this. We'll call it a challenge. Let's do curves layer. We're gonna do shadows now, and I want these shadows to be blue. A little bit of green. Yeah, nice that looks. Just looks nice. Okay, so we're going to apply it to that. We're going to do a blend if. We don't want it to affect the top end. We only want it to affect places where we would put a shadow. Okay, so shadows. Flow 2 and 2. Drop this down. I can be a little bit more rough with the shadows here. So these would be sort of shaded technically. I need to fix that area. It looks terrible. Shadow. 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 You know, I don't know where exactly to put these shadows. I really need to blend that in better. What did Johnny do? Didn't have such a side angle. That's what Johnny did. Let's duplicate this layer. Delete it. Delete the... Do that. Okay, that's what I wanted. But now I want to change this so it's orange. Oh god, that's real orange. That's really orange. This is not gonna do what I want it to do because it's so orange. Like, I don't know what to do here. I want to blend this in, but I can't do that unless I use like the world's lightest brush, which is what I'm doing right now, but I can't see exactly what I'm doing because my computer's lagging. So I think if anything, I need to pull back on the exposure. Okay, so this color balance, I think if anything, I need to pull it back a teeny bit. Because if I paint away this color balance, then it's going to help. Like that. Like, this is kind of okay. Like, this isn't my best work in the slightest. Let's duplicate this filter, set it to screen, Gaussian blur it like a bajillion. Literally like 100. Set it to screen. Just to add a little bit of brightness to that. Let's take this background. See what happens if I actually go like this. Oh, that is very green. It looks kind of cool. It's just super green. So let me go to my selective color mode and go to my greens and add a bunch of magenta to that green. And get rid of a lot of the cyan. Yeah, it should do that. Take away a lot of the yellow. Man, this just like hates everything. Man, did it again. I'm trying to fill this in. Yeah, with like a just kind of a color. And it's like, no, you can't do that. Just to get rid of that green hue. And we've got this weird sort of thing going on. Whatever. I'm over it. I hate this whole thing. Welcome to the terrible stream today. Really, this just shows that sometimes if you don't know what you're doing, you can't get something done in this amount of time that you think you thought you were going to do. Good, I want to select that because I want to get rid of the exposure behind it like that. So that's good. Okay, let's throw some... What happens if I throw this light leak back on top? Cool, it covers up a bunch of stuff. Alright, let's go to our light leaks. Oh, let's make it pop. Ethan's gonna make this pop. Yeah, that's 100% true. So like, look how harsh this is. It's just so harsh. What is causing the most harshness to this? It's this layer in combination with this layer. So what I want to do... No, I want... Man, okay. 20%. 30%. Okay, I want to fade this in. Fade, 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 fade. That's better. That looks way better. Okay. What is that? Is that the exposure now? What is this? What is that layer? What is getting colored there? Is it this? No. Is it this? No. Is it this? No. Is it the exposure? It can't be the exposure. Okay, it's not the color balance. It's not that layer. It's not that layer. It's this layer. Okay. Cool. This is me demonstrating on how to not do what you want to do when you want to do it. Let's just cover up the ground real quick. See, actually kind of doing that makes this accentuate a little bit more, which is, oh god, great. We're gonna... Let's toss some stuff on front of it. You hate rendering animations in Cinema 4D with a burning passion. You hate the rendering time? Or you hate the... I don't know what this is going to look like until it's done rendering, so it might look stupid aspect. Oh, it takes so long. Gotcha. And what I said. Oh, I hate the dust is the correct size for this frame. It usually doesn't happen. That's fun. I'm gonna blur this a little bit though, because there's some like random JPEG artifacting. I don't know why. I'm gonna blur it like 3 pixels. What is this JPEG artifacting? Is that even that, or is it something behind it? I don't know. Whatever. 6. Totally not that now. Okay, so now we know that, so that's fine. Let's pop back here. What do I want to add to this? I wanted to add a lens dirt. I usually use like lens dirt 6. So look how slow it's loading these lens dirts. But it's loading them slow because I cleared all the cache on Adobe, so Adobe's all pissed and like, hey, don't do that. You're not supposed to clear the cache, guy. You're supposed to leave that for me. Okay, so that's a fun lighting exercise. You know, we kind of did it. A lot I would change. Doesn't look terrible though. The back looks amazing. Like this looks amazing. It's just up here I'm disappointed with. It's really all it is. Let's add that in there. Let's add some final tweaks to this. Some camera raw. I should just crop the back and be like, this is the good part. Pay attention to this. The issue is you're adding highlights on top of white, which is hard to do. Yeah, the back of the leg's nice right there. That's good. I don't like this part at the bottom, so we're gonna give this whole thing. Whoop. Let's add some clarity. I don't know. I'm just gonna hit some buttons and see what happens. 10, negative 10, 10, 10, negative 10. Let's give it a lot of texture for some reason and a lot of clarity. Let's dehaze it like negative 5. I don't know. Let's dehaze it 5. Yeah, let's give it some vibrance and some saturation. I want to give it a vignette to see if it gets rid of that, which it doesn't. But the vignette does look kind of nice. Yeah, Kevo, I completely agree. Let's add some grain just because. Let's see if we can color grade this a little bit. So the highlights we want to color grade to be a little bit blue just because. The shadows we want to be a little bit orange. And then the midtones, I really don't know. The midtones, I guess we would want to be a little bit orange too. Kind of like that. I think that's good. Color mixer, I don't know. Okay, so if anything is red, we want it to lean a little bit more orange. Orange a little darker, yellow's a little bit that way. Anything that's aqua, we want to go that way. Anything that's green, we want to be blue. So we can boost that over. And then the blues we can have be a little bit more pure like that. And then if anything's purple, we'll pull it back a little bit. And then just the curve, let's say the highlights are a +5 or a +15 and then a 5. Then I get, there. I'm gonna hit enter a bunch of times. 3, 2, 1, boom. There it is. Okay, I think this is too much. I think we just need to pull that just back just a little bit. Okay. Great. So 3, 2, 1, and boom, here we go. Final design. Just because. Well, there you go. Thank you guys for sticking around. I'm going to take off a couple pixels of this canvas because this light at the bottom is really bugging me. I don't know how to get rid of it. Just shrink the whole composition until it goes away. There, now it's gone. Okay, cool. We're good. Well, thank you for sticking with me and the sort of computer issues I was having with this. It came out pretty well for an hour and a half of work. You know, I would spend probably another 3 hours trying to figure this out. But, you know, this is pretty solid. He's probably going to love it. I'll post it on social. We'll see what he has to say about it. But thank you guys for sticking with me on this one. Again, if you guys want to join my Discord where I do weekly critiques that I toss on YouTube, you might have seen them. You can hit the link below. If you guys have any questions or suggestions for what you want to see on the stream, let me know. Next week, I might just do like a showcase where I don't design something, but instead I answer questions, show you specific things you wanted me to show you, like a live tutorial. So we might do that, but I'm happy you guys were quick to select to spend your time with me this evening. You guys have a lovely rest of your night.